All right, folks, this is a topic I don't tackle very often. Because there's all kinds of tricks and ideas, and that's what I want to give you today, a few different ideas that can help you find an accessible home if you are in the market for selling your home and buying another one, or you had the blessing of coming in to some funds, whether it was through the lottery or through a family member. But that is a blessing. So sometimes that happens, and I have to tell you that it is a challenge to do that. So I have some tips listed here that might give you some assistance or some ideas to go about purchasing a home that is accessible that doesn't exist. Because an accessible home is very difficult to find. There are rumors out there that accessible homes don't exist or will reduce the value of your home. And I've never heard such a ridiculous idea. There are a lot of middle-aged people who are going around looking for a home for themselves or for their family, and they're looking for something that's accessible because they want to age in place, and that is the key. They want to age in place, and so accessibility is important. Now, there is a scarcity, a huge scarcity of homes that are accessible. You might hit the lottery and find one, but they're very, very challenging to find. So here are some tips that I can give you. We already know that, the cost, they want to elevate the cost. Some people might want to elevate the cost because it is accessible, or some people think that they have to sell undervalued because it is accessible, and that's not the truth. I want to tell people out there that an accessible home is a treasure, because there are a lot of people out there who use wheelchairs or have a health condition in which they need something that is accessible. So here are a few things that you can do. Because it's a private home, they don't have to go according to the ADA. They don't have to because it's a private home. So you can kick the ADA to the mountains because you can't request that. You can perhaps find a real estate agent who specializes in accessible housing, or perhaps there's a real estate agent who accepts the challenge, and you can educate them on what you're looking for, because everybody in a wheelchair is different. So they might need, they don't care about the tub. They're fine with the tub, but for them it's really important for the sinks to be a little bit lower, or a kitchen that's accessible. Now, the funds you have, you might have to, let's say you want to put down $200,000 to purchase a home, and the important thing, and the agent can work this out to get a home that's a little bit lower than $200,000. I'm just saying, and then the money you have left over, you can use that money to make the adjustments to that house that you need. So that is one way of doing it. But you got to educate the real estate agent if they haven't had that challenge before. You can find an advocate that can go with you in looking for housing to help you with the funding idea, because you might have to purchase a home that is not accessible, but then how much money do you put in, and how much money do you keep for yourself to make those adjustments? And you can probably say that to the person who you're purchasing the home for. Let's say they are selling the home for 200,000, but you can say, hey, I have to make adjustments to this home because I'm in a wheelchair. So can we negotiate, a little bit of a lower price so I can have some funding to make those adjustments, lower counters and adjust the bathroom a bit, adjust the bedroom for whatever reason. The bedroom might not be in the condition you want it or in the position, so et cetera, et cetera. So, you might have to make doorways wider. You might have to make sure that you have a roll-in shower. Um, and you can see I'm following a guide here. In the past, I've had some ideas, but they've been, my ideas. Um, to be proactive in your search and don't settle for less. You might have an accessible home, but it's not the parts that you need. It might be accessible. Um, and communicate your needs clearly. And that is really important when you're negotiating a home. It's really important to say, hey, this is what I need. This is what I'm looking for. So can you assist me with that? I see that there's a ramp here in the house. So what parts do you have that are accessible? And I would like to see the home so I can figure out what parts I need to adjust to my needs. So that is important. So to communicate clearly and don't settle for less. Consider alternative housing options like adaptive homes or assisted living facilities, which is what I chose. So, and this home is accessible, I would say 95%. There are some things that are not quite accessible. Maybe someday I'll be able to advocate for making some changes. So still, in assisted living, you can advocate, can we put some funds aside next year to make my bathroom a little bit more accessible, take out the cabinet that's down below my sink, those kind of things. So advocating for change, the need for more accessible housing options in the housing market, which is huge, huge. So when real estate agents are out there working, they need to spread that word. And still, some people have the crazy idea that if they make their home accessible, that's going to bring down the value of their home. And that's not true, because there's a lot of people out there who want to age in place. So an accessible bathroom, an accessible kitchen, all of that is going to be crucial as they age and as they, get help when they're older, that things are to their needs and fit their needs. Raising awareness about accessibility standards and legislation. So this is really important for all of us to do, for people to think about accessibility in their homes and why and how. There are some on 2-story buildings now, they have ways to put in a small elevator so a person can go up and down if they lose their mobility, that they can get to the second floor or have a seat that goes up the steps. So those are really important ideas that are important to encourage people as they're building their homes to have that in mind to do later. Encouraging landlords and developers to invest in accessibility. So, landlords don't realize this. Again, they're in the thinking that, oh my gosh, I don't want the value of my home to be reduced. But you can, talk to landlords, encourage them to make a few of their buildings accessible, and and let them know they'll be gobbled up really quick. Um, if they're renting, to make it accessible, to put in a ramp, to um, change their kitchen to be more accessible, to make a bathroom more accessible. There are funds out there for landlords to actually make a home accessible and to talk to a few, make friends, and because I've done that in the past when I've needed homes. I'm a social worker myself. I use a power wheelchair, but I've worked with landlords to say, hey, I have a woman who's fleeing domestic violence, and she needs a home in this XYZ area where you have some apartments. Can we negotiate, because you will have permanent funds, through the government, and then a portion from her, and it will be, funding that will be assured for you. So that is attractive to them, and to talk to them what an accessible home would look like for them, and exactly how many people are out there looking for an accessible home to rent. And that is a gem. That is a gem out in the community. There are a lot of people with disabilities who, as we know, live in a bus or live in a trailer, that they've partially made accessible. So this is really a dire need for us out in the community. So here are the few tips. Funding, the funds that you put out there, see if you can get something that's below what the 200,000 that I was giving as an example, to purchase a home that costs a little bit less than that, so you'll have some funds to make the different parts of the home accessible. To get a real estate agent who might have experience in accessibility and can help you look for housing. Contracting disability advocate groups for support and guidance, so they can talk to you a lot about money and negotiating and that kind of thing. So key features to look for, wider doors, hallways, handles that, you just push them down. They're not the knob type. Accessible bathrooms with roll-in shower. Adaptive features like lower countertops and grab bars. Those are important things to look for. And you might need it to make a list yourself in terms of what is accessible, what are the accessible features that you need as you go looking at homes. What can be changed in this home? What is accessible and what is not accessible in this particular home? And can you negotiate, the purchase of the home and save a little bit of money of what you're offering to make XYZ part of the home more accessible? Communication is really important, talking to the person who's selling the home, communicating with your agent, the real estate agent often, and just letting them know over and over, this is what I need, and you can make a list and give them the list so that they know, okay, this is non-negotiable and this is negotiable. Consider talking to a landlord perhaps and seeing if they're willing to make those adaptations in their building so that, things work for you. First floor, wider doors, sometimes they might be willing because it's a new idea for them, and they understand that, even if you move, it could be, a gem for another person with a disability. So I'm hoping that these tips, these ideas will help you in your search for a home, because it is difficult. It is very difficult. So and you just might stumble upon something that nobody has found yet. And there you are with, a home that was accessible all this whole time, and you found it. You found it first. So, and you can negotiate with the owner. Or if you decide, no, I really want to rent still, so you can find a landlord, look at the home, and everything looks great. It's in the area where you want to live, but there are parts of the home that are not accessible. So see if you can negotiate with the landlord, like, all I need is an accessible bathroom. Everything else looks great. I can fit through the doors, so not a problem. And see if the landlord would be willing to look for funds. They might have funds already. And so to swap out that bathroom, make it completely accessible. Roll-in shower, bars on the walls, lower counters. They can do the whole shebang, and that apartment would be yours for a long time to come. And even if you move out, it'll be a gem for someone else with disabilities. All right, folks, I'm hoping these small tips will help you, and you can make your own list of what you are looking for, what you really need, what is not negotiable, and see if a few of these people might be of good assistance to you.